Hello everyone. I came back with another video on project management. This video is about project management process groups or process groups simply. My video is based on Project Management Institute's 5th edition of PMBOK, or that is Project Management Book of Knowledge. It's like a Bible for project management, and a book by Robert Wysocki, 2014. So process groups are requirements for any project. Any project must have these collections of activities or processes. They are clearly dependent to one another. One group is dependent to one another, and they are interacting to each other. They are also independent of application areas or industry focus. Like, for instance, you will have process groups in construction, you can have process groups in research and development projects, in IT projects, and development projects, social projects, any project. They are independent. Everywhere we have process groups. They are iterative and can have interaction within and among process groups. Iterative means you might need to repeat some of the process groups for a different project management lifecycle models. The nature of the interaction varies from project to project and may or may not be performed in a particular order. They are linked by specific inputs and outputs. Like from the one group, the output of one group will be an input for the next process group. So sometimes it's a bit vague or ambiguous between the definition of process groups and versus project phases. Here I will try to show their difference. Project phases are, the bigger classification of a project. There is different life cycles of projects. We have different life cycles of projects based on the order of the project phases and which project phase will be repeated again and again. You will have different project life cycle types. And under the project life cycle, you have project phases. Project phases and project groups, process groups, use the same name. In most books, they are the same. In Project Management Institute, it says initiation, planning, execution, monitoring and evaluation and closure. And different books like Wysocki uses scoping instead of initiation. So both process groups and phases have the same name, and it's really confusing sometimes. Which one is which one? But process groups are groups of activities, and they put together in one. Phases are bigger than process groups. In every phase, one phase can have all the process groups. So phases are subsets of, process groups are subsets of phases. A phase can have all the process groups except the closing, because we close out the project only at the end of the project. Process groups are not also project management lifecycle models. They are simply groupings of processes. So this diagram can give us a clear understanding about the difference between life cycle, project phases, and project process groups. Life cycle is at the top. It contains the whole process, and under that we have phases: initiation phase, planning phase, execution, implementation, or launching. We can use different names. For initiation also they use scoping and closeout. And under each phase we have the groups of processes: the initiation process, the planning process, execution, but we don't close out because we are moving to the next phase for planning, for instance, from initiation to planning. So the output of one phase will be an input for the next one. So this is the relationship, the difference and the similarity between process groups versus project phases. So in this diagram as well, we can see in every project phase we have process groups. So pre-project we have the idea, project charter, then the project starts phase 1, phase 2, and phase N. It will end at the end. But in every phase we have the different process groups. Project management process groups. This diagram represents is a model for project management process groups. So in the first one is start or entry phase at the beginning. It's not, then it will start initiating processes. And after that, we have planning processes. And after that, we have execution process and then closing out. But all this group, it will be under the monitoring and controlling process groups. We will do monitoring and controlling in all the process groups. Inside initiation, we will have monitoring and controlling. We have to control and we have to monitor. And then there is the exit phase. This diagram shows the interaction between each process groups. For instance, as you can see from the diagram, the initiating process group, it starts from the start of the project, the idea, and it will go only in the first, up to the first quarter, up until the planning process starts, and it will fade up. It will go away, initiation will end, and then planning will come. Planning will start from the start with initiation, together with initiation, but initiation will be given a high priority. Planning but starts during the initiation phase, and planning in this around the end of the execution phase. So until then we have planning. Planning is all the time. Then comes execution. Execution starts during the initiation and the planning phase as well. But the job of execution will be at its maximum during the execution phase, but it starts even during the initiation phase. And then planning, execution, monitoring will be all the time from initiation to the closeout. And closing out starts even, the process of closing out starts even during the execution phase, but it will be at its maximum after the project, the execution finished, and it will be closing out at the end. So there is an interaction between all the process groups. This diagram gives a very clear picture. So next time we will go through each process groups one by one, all the 5 process groups one by one. The initiation or scoping, then planning, then launching or execution, and monitoring and evaluation, and closing out. We will see each process groups in different videos. For today, thank you very much. Please subscribe to my channel, share, like, and comment, and press the notification. Thank you very much.